Hey everybody, how are you doing? I'm going to talk today about John C. Maxwell and how successful people lead. And you can see I've been taking many notes because this is this is an area that I really want to focus on. And I thought maybe you as a leader on my team would like to focus on this as well. And it's a really great book. So many really good points here. And I'm going to talk today about this chapter, the upside of production. And production is, what is production really? Like input, output. Like, really, I don't think it really depends on how much work you put into it. It's really how much work you get out, how much results you get out of it. So, meaning you can work all day, work all night, work all day, and then get one thing. Or you can do 1 hour and actually get 100 things, right? And so, really, what is the success? And I think that really needs to be defined. So, my first tip here is to define what that success is and to share it and speak it out loud so that way you can actually be accountable to it and actually have that, oh, I said something about it, I better do something about it conversation going on in your head, right? And so, a good leader is production gives credibility. So, meaning when you are actually speaking something, putting it out there, you're giving it credibility because of the actions you're putting into place. So, the ability to produce results has always been the line people must be able to cross to be successful. So, how do you be successful? How do you create results? So, step number two is leadership production models and sets the standards for others. So when you're having success, then you map that out. What is it? What did you do that had success? Most importantly, know what is it that you did that didn't have you have success, because usually it takes 100 times before you have one good result, right? Which most people give up after the 10th time they got told no or something like that. So you want to really start to really analyze it. And I got to thinking, a lot of leaders or a lot of people who are doing network marketing just think that there's a hope and a chance that something's going to come about it. Something's going to make it happen. Your good looks or your charm, or just because you picked up the phone, they're going to like you and say yes. Well, sometimes maybe that could be true. However, my belief is that you want to do it more, do it more, do it more, do it more, and analyze and study what's working, what's not working. Really, because if you're going to want to model that step or figure that out and have other people do the same thing, that's going to be the step towards success. And if you're not doing that, you're not going to make it happen. Another example of that would be like the Olympics. The Olympics are going on right now, and how inspiring is it to be? We were watching the women's 400 by 4 relay yesterday, and how inspiring. I used to run that when I was in high school. I don't remember which leg I ran. I think I probably did all different legs. Maybe I was a closer, maybe I was a starter. I think I did all the positions, but it doesn't matter, because what's really cool about running a relay like that, it's so fun because you're cheering those other people on. And I got so much excitement when we all won together. And that is really what it's about is if you had a crappy person on the team and you weren't supporting them, then that doesn't go so well, right? You are only as good as your weakest link. And so if you're able to figure out what your success was, what you're doing for success, and then you had people help model your successes, and then you looked at their success, what they're doing to be successful, and you bring all the good parts together and you create a system and a structure. Wow, can you imagine how much more effort and how much more forward positioning you would be, right? That is just so incredible. I just love it. And the women, they won the 400 by 400 relay by, gosh, I think it was over 3 seconds, which is just unheard of. The distance between place number two was like a long ways. It was like maybe 75 yards. It was incredible. I'm exaggerating, but it just seemed like a long ways. And I just love that. We always got first on our 400 by 400 in state. And we had a runner, her name was Janelle, and she was incredible. Her legs were so long and she could go so far and so quick. And the strategy of putting her in the first position sometimes worked really well, because then we got ahead and that helped us get further along. And or we had her be the closer. So sometimes, you want to switch things up and figure out what that strategy is, and that model is going to be as a system for people to follow and model with. Step number 3 is leadership production brings clarity and reality to vision. Wow. And just to be able to talk about our dream boards and really the things that we want to do and create, that's exciting. And if it doesn't light you up, then look at it again and ask yourself, why doesn't it light you up? Like, I am so excited about building in India. I'm so excited about building in Tanzania and also our United States team. This is just so incredible, the opportunity and things that can happen for the amount of money you make. And when you make that amount of money, can you imagine what you can do to give back to others? And so creating that vision and inspiration is just something that I just think is so important, because the clearer the vision that people have, the easier it is to move through those steps when it's a hard day or when picking up that phone isn't so easy. Okay, so step number 4 is leadership production solves a multitude of problems. So meaning you're always going to have problems. If things were easy, everybody would do it. And the more problems you have, the more you're going to learn, right? The more ways you learn not to do something, like we were talking in step number 1. But many people in leadership positions try to solve problems by using their systems, or they pay others to try to solve the problems for them. You're not going to learn if you do that, right? The truth is, leaders cannot delegate this situation. They have to solve it themselves. They have to be active in breaking through those obstacles, like running the hurdles and being really active to get through that. It's so important. They have to be able to move through that so then others can see the inspiration of breaking through that hurdle and seeing that vision. Step number 5, leadership production creates momentum. And momentum means everything in a business. Momentum really, truly means everything. And if you're able to, I feel like I'm able to get a lot more done when I'm being in production than if I'm like, oh, I got to do that. I should get to that. And it's really hard to get there. But if I'm like doing this and being in action, I actually feel better about myself. I actually feel like I'm getting things done. Nothing better than crossing the things off on your list that you need to do in a given day, right? And so momentum is king. You've got to have momentum. And so maybe you have a hard time getting in action. And I have talked in the past about doing 15-minute slots. If you just break your times down in 15-minute slots, then you're able to then to actually start to feel like at least you're getting something done. And then you'll be on the pathway, I promise. Momentum makers are producers who make things happen. So create an event. If you're up to nothing, get up to something. Let's create an event. Let's do a DIY party. Let's get something together and get in action and get that brain thinking again and get that feel good serotonin levels going again. And let's connect with people. Okay. Number 6, the leadership production is the foundation for team building. And everybody wants to belong to something. Everybody wants to matter and everybody wants to feel important. And, sometimes you'll have a team where people just come along and they just say, oh, I just want to belong to something. Like, why do we have so many clubs that people belong to, but they never show up? They just want to belong. And my commitment is that you can belong, but if you really want to get some serotonin juices going and you want to really feel lit up, is being in action and being on that 4x400 relay team, passing off that baton to someone and making a difference for them is just golden. And so again, this is just a chapter out of the John Maxwell book, How Successful People Lead. I'm Becky Rainey with All In on Oils, and I hope that if you have any questions, you'll post down below for me and like this post. I appreciate it. And even if you want extra points, if you want to share it to someone else, I would really love you for that. But thank you for joining me today. Hope you're doing well. Have a great Sunday afternoon.